that sweet? He's confusing me with one of his sons again. Do you think he's flirting with me? What is this?
This line shows the current tension between Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump. Trump keeps talking about Kimmel, while Kimmel responds with jokes and continues laughing about it. At the same time, a major fraud trial worth $250 million is taking place, where members of the Trump family, including his sons, are testifying in court. The situation has turned into a mix of politics, media drama, and legal trouble. In one recent rally in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Trump focused less on policy or the economy, and instead criticized Jimmy Kimmel's performance as an Oscar host, which added more fuel to their ongoing conflict.
Has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less-than-average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed-up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopinopoulos.
6 months after the Oscars, a clip from a political rally in front of thousands of voters appeared. Kimmel saw it the same night on his show, walked out to his desk, and looked straight into the camera, reacting to what he had just watched during the broadcast segment.
Okay, now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
There was no anger or long speech, just a calm moment where the humor seemed to speak for itself. In the next part, his son was in court. While Trump kept showing clips from the Oscars at rallies, Don Jr. testified in a New York courtroom in a $250 million fraud case involving the family business. His defense was straightforward.
I'm not supposed to rely on a big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars. I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors.
The accountants did it. Kimmel heard this statement and reacted in his usual style. He simply repeated it to the audience without adding any personal comments or explanation. His calm delivery made the moment feel even more noticeable and let viewers interpret the situation on their own.
Posted that his dad is the father of hotel gyms. He said, maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father. He's saying that his father, the father of the hotel gym, is a guy who's never stepped inside one.
The audience laughed, and Kimmel quickly moved on without making a big deal out of it. There was no anger or long discussion, just another moment added to the ongoing story. This became part of a wider situation often described as the rumor machine. Don Jr. watched the monologue and later posted a strong reaction online, blaming Hollywood elites in his message. A few hours later, an online rumor began spreading, claiming that Don Jr. had called the police on Jimmy Kimmel. However, this was not true. There was no police station record, no official report number, and no real complaint filed. It was only a misleading post online, supported by a fake image that made it look serious, along with words like breaking news to create attention. The next night, Kimmel addressed the rumor briefly on his show. He did not turn it into a major issue, and instead continued talking about the ongoing trial involving the Trump family. This situation shows a repeating pattern. Kimmel seems to notice how political stories often turn into drama online. He suggests that Trump and his family often present themselves as victims in many situations. According to this idea, victimhood becomes part of their public image. Every criticism, court appearance, or joke from a TV show is often reframed as unfair treatment and shared with supporters as evidence that the system is against them. Kimmel's approach stays the same each night. He calmly reports what happened, reads direct quotes, and lets the audience decide for themselves. Instead of pushing opinions, he relies on showing the facts and allowing viewers to see the pattern on their own.
Memoriam montage. He even worked my wife in there. Should I be worried that Trump has mentioned my wife more times at his rallies this year than his own? I also want to point out the Oscars were more than 6 months ago. He's still stewing over this joke. He keeps bringing it up, which I don't mind at all. In fact, I love it. I just wish he would quote it correctly. I didn't say, ha, 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 he thinks he bothers me.
There was no anger, no debate, and no attempt to spark attention or get a reaction from Trump. Instead, it was simply a presentation of facts, clearly listed and read in order. This was part 5 of the ongoing situation. Trump responded once again and could not move past the issue. He posted about the Oscars another time but repeated the quote incorrectly. He also mentioned Kimmel's wife and went further by calling Kimmel one of the dumbest human beings he has ever seen. The situation continued to grow as both sides kept reacting in different ways.
I know your cognitive abilities are declining faster than the price of Truth Social stock, so if it helps, I'm happy to send you one of the many products commemorating what I said to you that night at the Academy Awards, so you never forget it again, like this t-shirt or this coffee mug or this coffee mug or this coffee mug. There are a lot of coffee mugs.
He used Trump's own style of communication against him and even turned the situation into something that could be used in a positive way. He treated the conflict as something valuable, even calling it a gift. And in some cases, it was also turned into merchandise that people could buy. The audience reacted strongly, often laughing, because Kimmel was doing to Trump what Trump is known for doing to others. This leads to the next part of the story, which explains why this approach works so well. In most online or media-driven conflicts, people rarely understand how attention spreads. Every time Don Jr. posts an angry response, it ends up bringing more attention to the original joke. It reminds a larger audience that the comment or joke actually landed and got noticed. In the same way, whenever Trump brings up the Oscars at his rallies, he unintentionally gives Kimmel more material to use in his show. Each mention becomes another clip, another moment to share. Even false or exaggerated online stories, such as claims about police involvement or criminal actions, end up doing the opposite of what they intend. Instead of harming the comedian, they often push viewers closer to the person calmly explaining the facts and showing the original receipts. The louder the reaction becomes, the more people are drawn to the calm response. In this environment, attention often rewards whoever makes the most noise. But in contrast, Kimmel keeps a steady tone and focuses on organizing facts clearly. He allows the other side to provide much of the content through their own reactions. The result is that the audience does not share these moments because of anger, but because of relief. They feel like someone is finally explaining the situation in a clear and simple way. It becomes less about outrage and more about understanding what is actually happening.